Hey team, today we are working on a few movements that can potentially reduce lower back pain by moving, stretching, and strengthening at our QL, which means quadratus lumborum, QL for short, which are muscles that run parallel to the spine that insert at the bottom of the rib cage and insert at the top of the pelvis. And they can be big time culprits for lower back pain. So we want to work on how to improve them and potentially, again, reduce lower back pain. So we will start in a standing position. I'm going to face away from you initially. I'll go through a progression and I'll also go through a regression as well. The standard version that we are going to go with today is we are going to stand in a horse stance. So horse stance is like if you were riding a horse, so a little bit wider than hips probably. You're going to drop down a couple inches. So if you see me from the side, I drop down a couple inches. My head, shoulders, rib cage, and pelvis are all stacked, so I don't have any leaks in my alignment. Everything's in a straight line. I'm gonna put my hands on the wall for support. So I'm in my garage, so I don't care if it gets dirty. If you're in your house, do whatever you need to do. Put it on something where you can just have a little bit of support, and we can just work on how we're gonna move the hips. So think about your pelvis being a bucket of water. So the way it moves, you can pour it out. You can pour it out this way. We are going to focus on going up and down at the pelvis. Think about bringing the top of your pelvis towards the bottom of your rib cage. So it's going to be a little bit of a hike at the hip. So hands, just light pressure on the wall, horse stance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the bottom or the top of my right pelvis towards the bottom of my right rib cage. I'm going to hold that position for 3, 2, 1. I'm going to maintain all my alignment. Slowly just focus on moving at the pelvis. The left side is going up towards the bottom of my left rib cage. And again, I'm holding it for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and rock back towards the other side. You may experience some cramping in your obliques. That is completely normal. Just go as far as you comfortably can. And if you start to cramp, feel free to go ahead and back out. This is rep 2. Hold for 3, 2, 1. We're going to do one more each side. I'm moving my hip, my pelvis, right side pelvis towards the bottom of my right rib cage. And then last one, I'm going to switch sides. Depending on how much time you have, we're doing 3 reps of everything. You can do 5 up to 10, depending again on how much time that you have. And relax. And again, that works on getting the quadratus lumborum because that is also partially responsible for hiking at the hip, standing, walking. So just getting that quadratus lumborum or QL moving versus if we're sitting a lot, we're getting in that shortened and tightened position. So we want it up and we want to move. To progress this movement, you can hold on. I have this rig here in my garage. If you have like a training stick, even like a broomstick, you're going to actively drive down. So the progression is I'm actively driving down. And what that does is it helps activate tissues in the deep core musculature as well. So it's almost like doing a plank. So I'm driving down and then I'm going to work my hip bumps again. So I'm actively driving down to get more engagement out of my deep core musculature. Driving down into the floor about 40 to 50% of your maximum tension. You're in your horse stance. And now I'm going to bump my hips to the right, hold for 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to bump to the left. 3, 2, 1. Switch to the right. Hold at the end. 3, 2, 1. Bump to the left. Only thing that is moving is your pelvis. Last one each. Smooth, deep breaths. And we hold for 3, 2, 1. And last one to the left. 3, 2, 1. Come back to center and relax. A regression of the hip bumps is going into all fours. So if I go into fours, same concept at the pelvis. What I do is I focus on bringing the right side of the pelvis, the top of the pelvis, towards the bottom of my right rib cage. And then I focus on bringing the left side of my pelvis towards the bottom of my left rib cage. Same thing, holding for 3 each direction. This is rep 2, 1, and switch sides. And last one each, get a feel. Again, you should have less cramping versus the standing version. Also the concept of it, because now you're a little bit more supported with more points of contact, it usually can be a little bit easier to move through. Okay, so that's again working on hip bumps, working on bringing the pelvis, the top of the pelvis, towards the bottom of the rib cage. Getting into a little stretch. You can sit into a butterfly, and what you'll do is you'll rotate, so a little thoracic rotation, and then I'm going to lean towards my right, and I'm going to hold this position for a few seconds. Come back up, rotate, so thoracically rotate. That's your mid back, and that way you're focusing on that lateral line. So if you don't rotate, you can still get that lateral flexion and stretch and strengthening of the QL. It just works a little bit better with an alignment if you add a little bit of thoracic rotation as well. So I rotate, hinge over, hold for 3, 2, 1, come back up. Now, if I want to progress this, I can rotate, go with my elbow up, and what that does is, again, it adds a little bit more resistance. I'm adding a little bit more weight, if you will, by changing the lever. Come back up, switch sides, I rotate, hand behind the head, and then again, I laterally flex, stretching out that QL on my left side. One more progression. I rotate at the thoracic spine. Now my right arm is going to be straight, and I'm going to laterally flex to my left, stretching that right QL. Come back up, switch sides, rotate, left arm comes up, laterally flex to the right, hold for a few seconds, come back down. Now to work on strengthening at that QL, going through that same concept of bringing the pelvis, the top of the pelvis, up towards the bottom of the rib cage, we're gonna do like a butt walk. So the standard variation, if you watch me, so I'm going to be flexing at the hip, but I'm also bringing that pelvis up. So I'm not just lifting at the leg, I'm lifting at the leg, and the glute is going to slightly come off the floor, and that's by hiking that pelvis up towards the bottom of that rib cage, and then come forward. So I'm slowly walking myself forward, but when I hike at the hip, and then you're gonna walk yourself backwards. When I hike at the hip, that works on strengthening that QL. So if you see me from the front, I'm not laterally flexing and walking over. I'm hiking at the hip. So the hip comes up, the leg comes up, the leg comes out of the socket to come forward. So I'll show you again from the side. I come up at the hip, the leg comes out, comes forward. Come up, come out, come forward. So if you see me from the side again, what I do is now my legs are even. I lift up, I come forward, and now the left foot is slightly in front of the right. So now you know I'm coming up, coming out, coming down. So same thing, I lift that right hip, shoot the hip forward, and now again, my right foot is slightly in front of my left foot. To regress this movement, you can just go bent leg. So again, I lift the hip, try to reduce how much I'm laterally flexing, just working on shifting at the hips, hiking at the hip. So, and generally with those butt walks, we're doing, depending on how much time and energy, minimum of 5 each direction, so forward and backwards, or up to 20, depending on how you feel and your ability. So thank you for joining along, watching all the way through. If you find this information useful, Please like, share, and subscribe, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.